What's going on, guys? This is Cam. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Room.com, a direct-to-consumer brand that is selling office pods and office phone booths to Fortune 10,000 customers. This means their average ticket size is upwards of $100,000. And what we're going to be looking at is what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and what they can do better to turn more visitors into paying customers, guys. And trust me, when your visitors are worth $100,000 plus, you're going to do a little more from a CRO standpoint to make sure you squeeze the juice out of each and every visitor. This is not your conventional direct-to-consumer brand. So guys, this is going to be a really, really good one. Let's dig into it. So first things first, when we look at the above the fold section, the first thing people see when they land on this website is the headline, the subheadline, the CTA, and the video in the back. The headline, make room for a better way to work. This is exactly what that Fortune 10,000 executive wants to hear, because they're basically looking at ways to increase the efficiency and effectiveness and just the productivity of their employees. So this is definitely something that's going to be speaking to that upper level executive that is looking to really optimize their organization. Now, the subheadline, which I absolutely love, guys, is very direct in terms of their product line. Soundproof office pods and office phone booths for the new workplace, right? So they're basically saying this is for you if you're trying to change it up. You're trying to change up the culture, the structure of your organization when it comes to looking at new ways to tap into new ways of employee productivity. Now, when we look at the video, you can see very conversational, very work focused, and again, that's linking to that core benefit that's promised in the headline, which is a better way to work. So even with how you articulate what you articulate within your videos, it's very important that you're highlighting everything people want to see and hear from an end derived benefit standpoint. And these guys are not only showing the features, they're showing their ICP, which is the ideal client profile in utilization of the product. And the video is short and it's direct. It's not too much to the eye. It's not overwhelming. And that's going to be very, very important, because many times I see people throw in videos that are 40 to 60 seconds long on the above the fold section. I'm like, what are you doing? The average time spent on this section is probably going to be around 8 to 12 seconds max. And that's if you're like super, super lucky. In most instances, it's around 3 to 4. So when you take that into consideration, those quick snippets, highlighting those core features early on within your video is probably the only thing that's going to get the time of day. And I think these guys have done a great job with doing just that. And from a CTA standpoint, shop office pods, and they've utilized the isolation effect, which is the concept of making sure your call to actions are a contrasting color to everything else within your site. So their typography looks white, looks black, but their CTAs are green. And this is very, very well put together from an above the fold section standpoint. A+ work here. Now, when you guys even look at how the navigation works in tandem with the hero section, you can see they've added transitory call to actions, which are less intense CTAs. So shop office pods is daunting. It's a big ask, but talk to sales, get product guide is a lot less intense, meaning you're speaking to two different audiences. Those who are hot, who've already seen a lot of your marketing collateral, great, they're going to shop office pods. Those who haven't, they have fears, they have uncertainties, they have doubts. They want to see the guide. They want to see the differences from product to product. They want to talk to an individual. This is not an easy sale, guys. Sometimes you do need to change your selling environment if you are selling higher tickets. So just take that into consideration. But these guys have really, really, really checked all the right boxes on the above the fold section. And I think that in itself is going to reduce the bounce rate, which is going to be very important. Now, as we move down past the above the fold section, what you guys can see is they have a sticky header. And this is great because what they're anticipating is with just a little education, we want to change the selling environment, talk to sales, get the product guide. They want to move people down into higher intent sections within the selling process. And this is very, very well thought out as well. Now, when we look at the first element below the fold, which is going to get a lot of visibility because drop-off rates aren't high for the first 1 to 2 elements below the fold, design that inspires a better way to work. What did they do? They reinforce their core phrase, which is a better way to work. They're training the end user to simply say, this is the new way of building cultures internally. We've developed a series of soundproof office pods and purpose-built modular architecture that offers companies an affordable, sustainable, and flexible alternative to fixed construction and traditional office design. I love it, guys. They're basically sort of creating, a lot of people, they make apples to apples or comparisons. It's very, very smart to do that in how you articulate your copywriting on your website. Because, for example, what this end user is thinking, right? This Fortune 10,000 executive, they're thinking, well, maybe we can just build it in. Well, what they've done here is they've highlighted, you guys don't have to go through the traditional route of construction. We have an affordable, sustainable, and flexible alternative to a pre-existing solution that is just much more efficient, right? They're highlighting exactly the points of differentiation right here to simply say, hey, before you think of just going in and doing some more construction within your office building, this is why you should do this. So this is, again, such a important piece of copy here because they understand it's going to get a lot of visibility. And I would anticipate they've done a lot of user research to understand why is it that people give a damn about these products. And I think this checks off the right boxes. I would take it a step further. Obviously, I would do maybe a focus group because it's going to make sense for these guys. Put together a room of high level executives and ask them why they would want a solution like this, why this would be something they would consider as opposed to the traditional construction plus traditional office design work. But I'd anticipate they've already done this, guys. So as we move down, here they pitch their product line, which is great, right? They didn't waste too much time trying to educate the end user. They wanted to get them to the PDPs, the product pages, where they're going to have a lot more real estate to get focused on exactly why you should take that next step. So they've built just enough intrigue, guys, to get people to that next phase, in my opinion. And that's exactly what you want to do. You don't want to hold the ask for too long. I've seen a lot of sites from a structural standpoint. They have elements. The end user is looking for the product. They already have enough intent, but these guys have done a good job to understand. Let's make that ask very, very early on. Now, what they've struggled to do here is they don't really highlight the differences from product to product. Now, visibly, it's very, very clear. And I know you're selling to Fortune 10,000 executives. These are educated individuals. But guys, it doesn't hurt to highlight what are the core differences from product A, B, and C, because we don't want to waste the attention span of someone who is already very, very busy. And we know that. We want to take them to the PDP that is directly aligned with their intention. Because the last thing you want is me having to click into this, finding the point of differentiation with this product, and then coming back and then finding the points of differentiation. You want to sort of lead people as the authority to that next phase, okay? So let's move down. The world's leading brands choose Room. And by the way, congrats on these guys. I would anticipate they had to purchase this domain for a lot of money. But guys, from an SEO standpoint and from an authority standpoint, it's great to have domains that directly articulate what you do. Room.com, it's very, very simple. And it's very easy to remember, short, direct, to the point. Now, I'm sure they had to spend a lot of money, but that's for another day. The world's leading brands choose Room. Awesome. Love it. Just overwhelm the end user with all the authority you guys have. This is really well put together. The workplace of tomorrow. I'm anticipating this is their product guide. Oh, I love this. Try for 100 days risk-free. Nice. The world's first construction-free workplace design studio. Oh, that's super, super cool. Actually, I want to see all of this. Oh, wow. Nice. Our simple and seamless modular office pods allows teams to shape and then reshape their work environment with ease. Oh my God, I love this, guys. I love this. Look at this. They're literally talking about their point of differentiation, and they've linked it directly to the core benefit of what this is going to get you. So first of all, it's cost effective. They've made that comparison again. And if we click on it, wow, okay. I would take it a step further by making a direct cost analysis with how much this is going to cost in terms of our solution, I think that would hold a lot more validity. So that's great. Time saving, thoughtful design that ensures simple installation. Awesome. So they're answering a lot of the fears, uncertainties, and doubts of the end user. And this is very, very important, guys. Very, very important. Here you got some PR with a lot more authority. So a lot of times I've seen it. Every brand is doing this today. But what if you guys use that same real estate by taking that PR company or taking that publication and adding a quote from them? Not only does that give you more real estate to sell, but you're using that same authority to highlight the core derived benefit. We can now have meetings in peace. Amazing private space to get work done. Our booths are in constant use. So strong, so strong, so strong. We take human approach to business industry, breaking boundaries between corporate and personal and rethinking. We make work for you. Cool. Direct to you. We make extra room in the budget without compromising quality. I love it, guys. They're taking a stance to simply say this is a done for you solution, and it's much more price effective than anything you've done. Again, highlighting very, very important things that the executive is looking for, which is productivity, right? And then since this is why I had a client the other day, guys, and I asked them, so let's just call him John. I'm like, John, so who's your ideal client profile? He's like, Cam, let's skip the BS. Let's cut to the chase. How much is this going to cost? What can we do? I'm like, look, if we don't know your ICP, how are we going to put together all the messaging in regards to your point of differentiation in terms of why you as opposed to all the alternative solutions in the marketplace? Why will the end user feel like you understand them better than everything else they've tried in the past if you're not highlighting what they value? And this is why it's super important to have your ICP down, your ideal client profile, and really, really go in depth. The way you sell to Fortune 10,000 is not the way you sell to a brand that's doing 7 figures. They're in completely different profiles that they're going after. So when we say we design sustainably, what is this? Every Fortune 10,000 company they're usually public. I would anticipate they're all publicly traded. They have the environmental corporate responsibility of at least showcasing, even though if they don't give a damn about it, that they're for the environment, right? There's all these rules and regulations, and there's so much lobbying that has to take place. If you can highlight exactly what you guys are doing, it really is another facilitator with why one will go with your solution as opposed to the alternative. So we design sustainably. From design to delivery, we strive to lessen our impact on the environment. Our office pods are engineered with recycled materials and replace multiple cycles of construction, minimizing our footprint. So smart, so strong. You guys, here you have the blog. So from a structural standpoint, we've taken around 6 to 7 scrolls now. If by now the end user is not educated enough to take that next step and click on one of our higher intent actions, which is usually the product page or talking to sales, we want to showcase a blog to address how this is going to look for them, why companies are doing this, and that's going to be very, very important and really well done. So I don't know what that is. Build back a better workplace, flexible to any. Look, these guys have built this website like any high converting direct to consumer brand based off everything I've seen so far. The one thing I would do, guys, is I would showcase more visuals. I would find a way to highlight sort of like a gallery to show this product with it in its best case scenario. I think they've probably utilized that in some of the further pages, but let's see, actually showrooms. So they have showrooms where you can actually go in and see the product in use. But again, I want to create that visual experience on the website. I just don't feel like they've done a good enough job of that, at least on the homepage. I feel like they could do a little more because look, like this image, the traditional office, right, is not going to look like this where you just have like one pod isolated. Just put it in the best use scenario. Show me different angles. Let me visualize it in my office, right? Let me visualize it in my office. I want I want to grasp it. It's the concept of future pacing, which is showing that derived benefit to the end user to a phase in which they can actually visualize them tangibly having the product. Now let's go to a product page and look at the structure here. A private space to call your own, explore soundproof focus rooms, and a private office for the open workspace. I mean, the copy doesn't get better than this, guys. I think these guys have done world-class research prior to putting together the copy on this site, and it's definitely visible. It's definitely visible. They haven't taken any shortcuts. Now, they showcase it starts at X price, right? But how do they de-risk it? They take this big, scary number, right? And they simply say you can also pay monthly with only $560 a month, which is very, very powerful because now people can better justify the value of this product because the price tag isn't as scary. So let's move down. Keywords here: productivity, focus room. Love it. And here they're highlighting all the features of the product, right? And this is great. Let's see. Step inside. Oh my God. How cool is that, guys? How damn cool is that? You know, one thing I would do differently is sort of create like tabs around each of the features within this design. So like skylights, highlight these are the skylights, whiteboard, highlight this is a whiteboard. Show like all the value they're getting. It's just going to get people a lot more excited because right now it just looks like the pod. I understand they highlight all of this, but like highlight where each and every element is, and maybe, you know, hover over it, go more in depth in regards to exactly what this is. And then they make the comparison to the Pro. That's super, super well articulated there though. Oh my guys. So how soundproof is room focus? Love it. So what's one of the biggest problems your ICP faces? Address it head on. Show people everything they want to see and hear. And in this case, literally showcase what people want to hear, which is less noise. They literally have an effect where they're like, before this product, you guys heard it. It's like all the noise, the phones, everyone's talking over each other. After this product, you can get into deep focus, deep work, more productivity, more money, more revenue per employee. What more does an executive want than more revenue per employee? Nothing. So here they're showcasing the product in different scenarios, which is great. They got one here, got one here. Love it, love it, love it. Ooh! 70% of employees plagued by noise and distraction in the workplace. Oh my God. Oh, and here they go in depth, section by section, highlighting everything within. Block out the office distractions and get to work. And here they're showcasing, look at that. This is what I was talking about earlier, guys. This is exactly it. This is very, very strong. Book a room anytime. Frequently asked questions to answer any fears, uncertainties, and doubts that they couldn't above the fold or even below the fold. And then a CTA again. Guys, usually I'm very critical, but I can't get critical about these guys. Whoever has built this site, whoever's designed this site, kudos to you. Kudos to you because you have left me lost for words. I think these guys check all the right boxes, guys, from a design standpoint to turn more visitors into paying customers. And here we have the phone booth, which is literally an add to cart function. Pay monthly, pay now. Awesome, awesome, awesome. No upsells. I don't think they're looking to upsell with a product like this, which is fine. I just think the one thing these guys should have done better is try to train the end user to say more is beneficial. So structuring your offering in a way where you're incentivizing a higher AOV, the last thing you want is a big company just to install one pod. They have the budget, they have the space. So what are you going to do to create an environment to justify for a company that has 1,000 employees to say, based off our research, given the size of your company, we would suggest X, Y, and Z solution. Taking that authoritative stance is going to be very, very important. I don't think they've done that from what I've seen so far. Maybe they believe they could do that in the sales environment, like person-to-person sale environment, but I think they could have created that environment on the website as well. And that's the one thing I'll leave these guys with. But all in all, from a conversion rate standpoint, they check off all the right boxes. I think from an AOV standpoint, there's still some work that can be done with how they upsell, with how they train the end user to think about how these products can be used in bigger quantities across bigger organizations, and maybe even finding more ways to change the selling environment. I think if they can get higher level decision makers on the phone and they can justify a lot more value in terms of how they, based off the authoritative stance that these sales representatives have, why they should take X, or what, say like you're talking to Meta and you're like, look, Google recently with the size of their unit, they bought this many units from us. This is why we suggest you guys do the same. This is on average how much we see your productivity increase. Well, then if you're talking to someone from Meta and you say, hey, Google's doing this. Well, hey, why is Google doing this and we aren't, right? So even from a design standpoint, finding ways to turn more visitors into phone calls is a conversion rate activity these guys can partake in. So with that being said, without a shadow of a doubt, from a conversion rate standpoint, this is literally a 9.5 out of 10. From an average order value standpoint, I think it's still around a 6 to 7 out of 10. The last thing, again, you want is someone just to come here, given who they are, to buy one pod. That's not the environment we're creating here. But all in all, phenomenal job. Hats off to you guys. Room.com, beautiful work. Cam from SolveX Media, guys. If you guys need help when it comes to turning more visitors into paying customers based off scientific principles we've seen work time in, time out, 400 plus times, feel free to reach out to me directly and we'll see what kind of magic we can do together. As always, guys, see you on the greener side.